Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing fantastic and that you're all having an absolutely incredible day. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. Apparently Cardano is in the news today. Cardano has a brand new partner, and Cardano has partnered with Brazil's state-owned energy company known as Petrobras. As a result of the collaboration, the first initiative will be leading blockchain training workshops for the Brazilian organization's employees. Brazil isn't as in the cryptocurrency news like it used to be a number of years ago. I mean, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Brazil was one of the first countries to announce like near full support for Bitcoin. They don't have it as legal tender, but we heard from a number of cities within Brazil that they would be, I think their main cities would be like accumulating Bitcoin for their treasury. They would also be allocating money for something else for Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is legal within Brazil for like a number of contracts and other things like that, resolving around like money, and also just like an overwhelming like amount of like, yeah, it's legal here. They didn't really waste any time when it came to like simply just legalizing the entire cryptocurrency industry. So we haven't had Brazil cryptocurrency news in a while. Participants in the program will have the opportunity to learn about the characteristics of the cryptocurrency sector, discuss the potential of blockchain, and complete interactive quizzes and related topics. The Cardano Foundation has already conducted 2 workshops in the metaverse. Okay. One focused on global perspectives and regulations within the Brazilian region. They said, headquartered in Rio de Janeiro, Petrobras, with over 45,000 employees and an annual revenue of approximately $125 billion, is among the largest companies in Latin America. Participants who complete Cardano's education program will receive a special certificate, and the first 500 people will be giving an NFT. Are there NFTs on Cardano? Okay. And the first 500 participants will receive a non-fungible token to highlight their achievements. Cardano Foundation CEO Frederick Gregard commented on the agreement, stating that the project's goal is as follows. Empowerment through education is a central part. Our participation or partnership with Petrobras, a Fortune 500 company and one of the world's largest publicly traded companies, highlights both the appetite of businesses for blockchain education and the increasing reach of the Cardano Foundation and their mission. So, at the moment, there is no news as far as like the actual usage of the Cardano blockchain. This seems to be like a partnership in knowledge and learning alone. Good on Cardano or the foundation for having like acquired, I guess, a partnership with the energy company in Brazil. But as I've stated many other times before, here we go. Don't get mad at me. I mentioned before, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago, Cardano is a blockchain and a foundation and a company and all these other things that constantly has new partnerships, but the majority of them end up being something along this line. So it's cool that they have a new partnership. They're working with the government, but maybe, I don't know how closely that's linked together. But maybe this will blossom into something. Maybe if there's enough good news coming out from the employees who learn something, maybe the company will eventually use the Cardano blockchain to write things on top of, or to keep transaction data or other things like that. But yeah, a lot of Cardano news tends to be stuff like this, like things are happening, but not necessarily on chain. That's the Cardano is helping is it the largest? Yeah, okay, it is. Government. Brazil's state-owned energy company to teach people about crypto news. And yeah. Let's move on. I'm almost certain none of you know what I'm about to say. Like none of you are thinking of these words together. Metaverse platform The Sandbox is apparently aiming to make India their largest market within the next 24 months after entering the nation earlier in 2020. I assume it's 2023? Okay. Through a joint venture with a local entity. A first for the subsidiary of Metaverse gaming and venture capital giant Animoca Brands. So India has been in the cryptocurrency news space for a very long time. We've gone over it before. Their government has, up to this point, at least at the time of me making this video, been lollygagging when it comes to like actual giving proper cryptocurrency regulation within the company. A lot of cryptocurrency businesses have tried to do business within India, and then they were told that it was illegal or there isn't proper cryptocurrency legislation, regulation, or whatever Asians also end in that way. And then a lot of companies ended up leaving. We heard that Coinbase and Ripple are trying to enter India or are there or have locations, but it's not like a full-fledged. The government keeps claiming that they're going to do something, but it never actually ends up happening. So now it seems like as metaverse size continue to potentially end up being something in the future, the energy around NFTs is back. And if you haven't been paying attention, I see it all the time. The news around metaverses is also picking back up once again. The idea is that with the release of the Apple Vision Pro headset and all these other companies apparently going to be copying and or doing the same and or whatever, people always end up doing with these companies, that the metaverse could become something that really picks up for the general public. Like the idea of having a job online in the mid or late 90s was nonsensical. You could not have imagined that people would be working online because you assumed that they were like kind of in the computer. So it's the exact same thing for the idea of the metaverse. We've seen a lot of the information and the implications surrounding it before, but now it's kind of like it's maybe go time. We have not had recently any news from Facebook as to exactly what they're planning on doing, but they have been updating their avatars. Not sure if you saw. It was like quiet news, which was really weird, that I found that Facebook had like basically made their avatars to look realistic, and it was nowhere in the news. You have to you can definitely find it online. But the idea is that the metaverses will be something that we will all be using. You may say no, you may shake your head, but it's the same exact thing as people thought years ago with the internet. The idea was, why do I need it? I can write a letter. I can watch the news. I can get my information from somewhere else. And now our phones and our tablets are glued to our hands all the time. So the idea in the metaverse is that we will at some point want to interact with people or visit places or do things that we normally could not do in that instantaneous moment, put our headsets on and go to that place. As India is the most populous place on the planet right now, I believe they have 1.5 or 1.6 billion people, which the number is just absolutely insane to even think about that number out loud. The idea is that you want to go into the Indian market because they have a lot of people. And therefore, if you can get 5%, 10%, 12% of their market, you are going to be making a lot of money. And this is why we've seen a lot of companies within the cryptocurrency space trying to get into India. But up until this point, it hasn't really worked out the way that they all have been really talking about it. So now the Sandbox, similar to Decentraland, we don't really hear about Decentraland as much. It's usually the Sandbox. The Sandbox kind of gained favor amongst celebrities in 2023 and 2022 as far as like the place where like Snoop Dogg and Paris Hilton and all these other people, they bought land in these metaverses and were having parties, and people were buying land next to them so that they could also party next to these celebrities as well. So that's currently where we are. They said, and I quote, "We want to build a diverse and inclusive world with no borders, bringing different regions of the world together. And with that vision in mind, a year ago, we started out in India to establish a joint venture." This was said by the co-founder of Sandbox, Sebastian Bourget, very fancy. He said an interview with, I assume that's, in the city. Got it. Cool. I thought that was with like a news publication. There's that thing right there. The joint venture between Brink, BRINC, a global venture accelerator, and the Sandbox was announced apparently in February of 2023. I don't remember one portion of that, but fancy. And led to the creation of what they call Bharat Box, a cultural metaverse hub for India that encompasses Bollywood. And yeah, it just says Bollywood. Cool, fantastic. It says the Indian entity of the Sandbox will be known as Bharatbox, Bharat box. Bharatverse, I guess like metaverse, is the Indian land on the Sandbox map. Okay. Its ambitions for India come at a time when lawmakers have asked the Web3 industry to decouple itself from crypto. India's crypto industry has been in survival mode, and the nation imposed stiff taxes in 2022. I think their taxes were like every transaction. I think it was every transaction with crypto has like a 1% tax on it or something. It's just nonsensical. It's another form of like hyper corruption that we were talking about in the last video. For those of you who missed it, Nigeria, I'm pretty sure it was Nigeria, their central bank just lifted a ban on cryptocurrencies within the country. There shouldn't have been a ban in the first place. The government was probably buying up huge amounts of cryptocurrencies, and now they see that all these other companies are getting into it. Now they're trying to, oh yeah, now everyone's, allowed us out of it as well. Same exact thing with India. I'm not in India, never been there, but from what I've heard from a lot of my friends, the friends who don't live there anymore, apparently it ain't it. Like the government is kind of outrightly corrupt in so many different ways. And it's also one of those situations where, sorry for talking fast. It's also one of those situations where I say it this way. The government knows that their public would benefit from crypto or having another thing to be able to invest in. But part of the problem is that they don't want them to invest in it. They want them to continue using their local fiat currency and basically having no benefits from it as inflation continues to ravage the entirety of the planet. And therefore, you make sure that you tell everyone that it's not good, it shouldn't be used, decouple yourself from it, don't try and use it, because you don't want people to basically figure out 1.6 billion people to figure out that this thing that you told them not to use for the last 6 or 7 years is far better than the system that they've been using for hundreds of years and could have made a lot of people rich. Probably would not have made a lot of people would have been quite angry. They said we are ready to engage with and help regulators to discuss the space. In the past 6 months, Bharatbox has signed 25 Indian partners, including Eros Entertainment, and there's like a whole bunch of names. I'm not reading all of that stuff. Cool. Fantastic. I hope it works out for them. I have an inkling it won't, just simply because this is like the SEC but India. They've been doing the exact same thing. It's not that difficult to give cryptocurrency regulation. You basically say you're going to be taxed. Here's a normal taxation number, not every single transaction, because if that's the case, do it to your fiat currencies as well. Literally make sure that as people go to buy their vegetables outside or wherever you go buy your vegetables, that there's also like an additional 1% tax on every single transaction. This is being done on purpose to make sure that people don't enter the industry. And as a last thought, there are going to be a massive amount of people on the planet who are not going to be very happy in the future when they find out that their government told them not to buy crypto at the same exact time that the government was also buying crypto. That's the Sandbox news. Good luck. I hope it works. India, that's a tough market to enter. So if it actually ends up working, then the Sandbox has won. They've won the entire race. But as it stands right now, I'm not too optimistic. That's the Sandbox news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in, sure, why not? I can't wait to see it news. This is also a bit confusing, as many things are in the cryptocurrency space, but you'll see exactly what I mean. Apparently, Ethereum's next upgrade is going to be called Cancun Deneb. And apparently it's set to begin testing on the 17th of January, as per an official note published on the Ethereum GitHub repository. According to the latest Ethereum All-Core Developers Consensus Call report, Ethereum developers have confirmed their progress towards launching a Goerli shadow fork for testing the Cancun Deneb upgrade with all of their clients. This testing phase is expected to begin within the next 1 to 2 weeks. Fantastic. The initial testing will take place on the Goerli testnet, followed by implementation on the Sepolia testnet on the 30th of January, and the Holski testnet on the 7th of February. This is quite typical for a lot of chains. They don't have one normal testnet. They have multiple different tests and testnets. And what usually happens with Ethereum is that we hear there's going to be an upgrade. They say January. It ends up being like the middle of March, and then they go, okay, June. This is the way that it normally works out for Ethereum. So if we end up having this mid-February, end of February, I will be shooketh. The Cancun Deneb upgrade is currently undergoing testing on DevNet 12, where all execution layers and consensus layers, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. The introduction of a shadow fork is part of the testing process, serving as a smaller scale test. Blah, 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 blah. However, the Ethereum team has not yet specified when it will be deployed on the mainnet, because they know it's going to take about 9.5 years. The upgrade includes several tools designed to reduce fees, enable new features for bridges and staking pools, and limit the use of self-destruct and operations. What? That sounds terrible. After testing, the new goal will be to distribute the changes on the mainnet around the end of February. I don't know about that. Although these dates are subject to change depending on the outcome of the testnet forks. Is this actually what it is? Upcoming set to introduce changes. The upcoming upgrade is set to change the execution layer, the overseeing smart contract execution, the consensus layer, and focuses on blockchain consensus through staking. Where's the actual thing? They talk about EIP 4844, which is called proto-dank sharding. Proto-dank sharding, lovely word. Aims to enhance Ethereum scalability. So basically, this is a very long article. What they're trying to do, or what they say that they're trying to do, is to help Ethereum properly scale. I do not know if this is like the big shebang that we've all been waiting for. For those of you who don't know, the shebang is basically meant to be Ethereum, what they said was going to happen back in 2016. That's not a fake year. That is literally, Ethereum came out, I think, 2015. They said by 2016, 2017, we would have Ethereum 2.0. We would have 1 million transactions per second. And I think 2024, 2023 was meant to be the time where we would get Ethereum 3.0. So, you know, exactly how that ended up going. The idea is that Ethereum needs to scale. And this is why we've seen such a large amount of layer 2 scaling solutions, a la Polygon and all the other stuff, Optimism, Arbitrum, you name it, to help Ethereum with its tremendous amount of transactions that it currently has as is being processed, as it is the most used blockchain that we have on the planet. But Ethereum's mainnet, the main chain, is at some point, we've been told, especially reiterated in 2020 and 2021, that we would be seeing an Ethereum that had 15,000 transactions per second, 35,000, 100,000, and I refuse to say 1 million because that's almost like a myth at this point. But this has been spoken about for a while. I remember 2021, Deneb Cancun was being spoken about like, yeah, it's right around the corner. I think the most important one that we have that people really cared about was being able to stake and basically going to proof of stake. I think that, I mean, when I mean in all honesty, it's kind of like the main thing that people really cared about. If Ethereum remains, it's expected not to, but if Ethereum remains with as slow transactions per second as it currently has, but we see a massive 5, 10, 15, 20x in growth of layer 2s around it, no one would really be upset. People wouldn't be like, oh, this is terrible. As long as people can use it, seamless, instant transactions, you need to smooth some of the stuff out because there is a lot of like weird swapping and stuff that has to be done between Polygon and Ether. And it's all these little, things that can be ironed out as time goes on. It's not that I've lost faith in like these upgrades, but it's more of I don't think a lot of these things are going to be happening anytime soon just because we've been told that they were going to be happening for a while. This proposal also allows layer 2 roll-up networks to temporarily store certain transaction data using a new format called blobs. These blobs can be deleted after 18 days, providing a potential reduction in transaction fees on layer 2 networks. Cool. And it just keeps on going, and they keep talking about all the, and just a lot of numbers. Is it 4881153 478? It's just a lot going on. So cool. Fantastic. The next Ethereum upgrade is expected in the next couple of weeks, question mark. It's not that I don't believe it. It's just all their other upgrades have taken a long time. And I will say, as I've said before, I'm not a developer. I am not a coder, so I do not know exactly how long that it takes. I only go off the information that's been given to me. So we continuously hear, hey, the 22nd of March is when this is going to happen. And by the time we get to the 1st of October, it's like, oh, we still don't got it? Okay, that's cool. So yeah, apparently testing begins on the 17th of January. Let's see if this actually ends up taking place, because, you know, that's not how things have worked out before in the past. But usually whenever Ethereum has an upgrade coming up, or it has an upgrade actually happen, the price, of course, continues to rise as well because of the anticipation of it. So maybe that'll get us to that magical $5,000 that everyone keeps throwing out there, which is only $200 more than the previous all-time high. So, you know, that's math. Yeah, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.